Welcome to Celebrate Aging. I'm Vicki Marthaler, your hostess today here at Emmanuel Community, and I welcome you to join me for the next 10 minutes as we talk about home. As you know, the holiday season is upon us, and we certainly are thinking about home during the holidays. Here at Emmanuel, when residents come to live here at Emmanuel to make it their home, we know that they come because they need care, whether it's a physical or mental or emotional compromise. We are here to help create and remake home for them here at Emmanuel. And it's not always an easy task, but we're up to the challenge. So I'd like to share with you a little bit about home. I found a story in a book written by Mitch Albom called Have a Little Faith, and it got me to thinking, and I'd like to share it with you. It's just a short little story of a little story he heard at his church from his pastor. A military chaplain told me the following story. A soldier's little girl, whose father was being moved to a distant post, was sitting at the airport among her family's meager belongings. Oh, that little girl was tired, so she leaned against the packs and the duffel bags and the suitcases, and she took a nap. A lady came by, stopped and saw that little girl sleeping amongst all the boxes and the duffel bags and the suitcases, and she went over and patted her on the head. The little girl woke up and she heard the lady say, "Why, you poor child, you haven't got a home." And the little girl looked up in surprise and she said, "Oh, but we do have a home. We just don't have a house to put it in." Isn't that a precious story? Well, here at Emmanuel, we do have the house to put it in, and part of our mission says that we yearn to create home wherever a person chooses to live, and sometimes a person does come to live here at Emmanuel. And how can we make home for you? How can we make home for them? Well, let me give you a couple of examples of just recently that I think is a perfect way of how we are trying so hard to help create home. Number one, on our menu last week, we were offering Joe's hot dish. How Minnesotan does that sound? Well, Joe is a resident here and he loves to cook. He has a long history of cooking and great recipes. Not able to cook anymore, but his recipes are still good, and so we are incorporating them and offering them to our residents. Joe's hot dish. One big change that I've seen in the 15 years I've been here is that we welcome a resident's animals or pets, cats and dogs. We see them quite often and we make room for them. We make home for them. Maybe one of the biggest changes that I've seen when I first began here at Emmanuel, at 6 o'clock in the morning, people got up. Everybody got up. We were on a very regimented schedule around here. People got up at 6, they got washed up, they got dressed, they went for breakfast, and things just were going by the clock. Big change came, and not too many years after I started, was, you know what? If people at home sleep until 7:30, they can do that here too. If you want to get up at 8, you can get up at 8. If you like your breakfast at 9, you can have it at 9. That is creating home. I also remember about a resident we had. His name was George, bachelor who lived up by Callaway. He loved to be outdoors, but he had a stroke and he wasn't able to move about without a lot of help. And he yearned to be outdoors every day. He didn't care if it was 40 below, he didn't care if it was 80 above. He needed that fresh air every day. And the staff made sure that every day, whether they had to bundle him up and put lots of blankets on him to get him outside for his half hour, that's what they did. And that's making home. I think of the times family bring in the peas from the garden or the strawberries that they picked, and that we clean the strawberries and we pick snap the peas. Residents do around tables as much as they can, and if they're not able to physically do it, at least they're still being part of that experience. And so we work hard at making home. We yearn to do that. And that's how Christmas at Emmanuel was born. For the many past, in fact, I was going to look and see how many years we've been doing it. I can't even remember. We've done it for so many, but Christmas at Emmanuel is a holiday craft show and luncheon. And it was started so the residents could have the experience of shopping, because shopping is a big thing for many people. They've done it all their life and they like to do it. But sometimes when it's hard to get out and about, it's easier to bring the shopping in. And so on Saturday, December the 4th, here at Emmanuel from 10 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, you have, as a community, we invite you in to shop as well with our residents at Christmas at Emmanuel. Now right now, I'm looking at my list, I've got close to 20 different exhibitors. Yeah, this room that I'm sitting in is our Forest Conference Center, and it looks pretty boring right now, just with stacked chairs and tables, but it will be transformed on Saturday, December the 4th, because we will have all the exhibitors in here, and they will be selling things and have shopping things like quilting, table runners, pot holders. There's going to be crafters who have made pillowcases and cosmetic bags, crafters who are making jewelry. We have a resident who makes computer-made cards. All of these will be on display, plus those wonderful samplings of Watkins and Mary Kay and Avon and Stanley and Fuller Brush. All of these things will be present here for that Saturday, December the 4th. And then our auxiliary, right across the hall in the next room, will have their treasure sale, which is a fun rummage sale. And our residents, of course, have a great history of going to rummage sales, garage sales, yard sales, and how fun is that? If not just to shop, but to browse and to window shop. Those are all things that are part of their living and what they enjoy to do. And so that's how we got started with our Christmas at Emmanuel. Then, of course, if we're going to be shopping, what better thing to do than to eat? We offer a holiday luncheon of a soup and a sandwich and a piece of pie. And how great is that? So on Saturday, December the 4th, we have Christmas at Emmanuel. And it was born out of the idea of how can we continue to bring home to our residents what they enjoy to do, what they love to do, and what they yearn to do. Let's continue doing it. So again, our list of, we're going to have heritage quilters here. We're going to have a lot of good baking stuff. Not only will the auxiliary have a bake sale, and they have a lot of ethnic foods like kroomkakas and sandbachels and lefse and quick breads and fruit cakes. All of those yummy things will be here. You almost have to get early to get the best pick. But they do a lot of heritage baking, and we also have a couple of bakers that are going to have their donuts and their breads and their pies and their bars and their fudge. All those good things, that will be available. We also have some people who are making jewelry and sewing American doll clothes. So if you have some granddaughters or kids that have the American doll, there'll be American doll clothes here available. A lot of different crafts. Our activities too has a table, and some of our residents, not only at Emmanuel but at Lamplighter and at the Madison and the cottage, are welcome to display some of their items. So we've got a great day lined up for you. That's Saturday, December the 4th. Begins at 10, it ends at 2. It's at the Forest Conference Center here at Emmanuel. We'll be looking for you. And remember that we're creating home. And any way you'd like to help or assist us in that, we love to have volunteers helping us create that home for our residents. Have a wonderful holiday season, and around here, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.